Hello and welcome to this Moho Crafts video tutorial showing you how to make your copper and chord macrame stand. Let's have a look at her in all her beauty. There's the finished article. Oh, nice. Right, so let's get going. So the first thing that we need to do is you need to cut your cord into 2-meter lengths. That's 2-meter lengths. So if you get chopping, and I will see you when you've got all of your pieces ready. See you in a minute. So we're going to begin by attaching each one of our cords across this top back bar with a lark's head knot. So take your cords, put the ends together, then you can find the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach it over, and we need to make sure we do all these in the same direction. So lie it over the top like that, pull down a loop, pull the cords down and through the loop and squidge it up to that end. Okay. So I'll show you that again. Take your next cord, put the two ends together, find the middle, lie it over the top bar, pull down a loop at the back, put your hand through that loop and pull the two ends down. Pull them all the way through, lovely jubbly, tighten it up, squidge them up together. We're going to tie square knots in blocks of 4 cords. So that's your first 4 cords that we've attached there, because each one gives us 2 ends. Right, so just bring it forward a little bit and you can see it. So we put it over the top with the loop, pull a loop down, put your hands through the loop back to front and pull, tighten, tighten. I'll show you one more and then we'll have a bit of a fast forward. Okay, so over the top, hand through the loop, pull, 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 fasten, 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 squidgy uppy. So that's 2. Right, okay. I will see you when I've attached all of my cords. Right, so I've now attached all of my cords across the top. You need to make sure, if you are not using our kit, that you have an even number of cords, because we're going to need that to tie our square knot. So I'm just going to tighten these up and we're going to position them so that we have 2 together and then a little bit of a gap through so that you can see your copper. Okay, so we want them all over the top like this here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to tie our first row of square knots. So if you're working from our kit, it's exactly the same knot that you did in your key ring, right? And we're going to do here, 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 and so on all the way along. So if you're reading off your pattern, it says using chords 1, 2, 3 and 4. When reading a macrame pattern, you always start from the left. Whatever chord is on the left at that point is chord 1. If that ends up over there after the end of that row, for the next row, this one becomes chord 1. So where it says using chords 1, 2, 3 and 4, tie a square knot. That's out of the way there. We're going to tie a square knot here. So we've got our 2 filler chords down there and our outside working chords. So we do number 4 from the left, take the other one, get it out of the way for you. So we take the one on the right, we go over 1, under 2, and up and out of the tunnel, exactly like you were doing with your key rings. Okay, and pull these. We want to pull these really nice and tight up at the top, so it just sort of really anchors these down. Then repeat from the other side. So your number 4 from that side, over, under, up and out, exactly the same, and pull it nice and tight. Okay, then that's those 4 done. It then says tie a square knot using chords 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. You know, I'm not good at maths, so we take these and we do another square knot. So same again, 4, over 1, under 2, up and out of the tunnel. Pull it up nice and tight, because we want these to really use up any slack here, and then it'll hold them all in place. And then from the other side, 4 on the right, over, under, up and out, flirty, flirty through there. Okay, lovely. And you'll see that these start to become a lot more sort of firm in the positioning compared to the ones that haven't been tied yet. Right, so then we take the next 4 and we go across with your 4, over, under, up and out, up and through, pull, 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 you know, like that. And then the other way, 4, over, under, up and out, and up and through. Lovely. We can squidge them together there. Let's see it quite nicely. That's them 4 done. Next 4. Tighten them up first of all. 4. Bring it through. So that was my 1. Back from the other side. 2. Lovely. So that's our halfway point. So we do the same again with these ones. Pull these ones really nice and tight. Okay, so I've got 1, 2 and 3 left to do. So I will see you at the end of the row. Right, so we've done our first row of square knots. What we can then do is just arrange these clusters, as they are here, into the positions where you're sort of quite happy with them sitting. Because when we tie the next row, it'll sort of determine the positions a bit more. So, lovely. Right, so this next row is we're going to use alternating chords. So we're going to use 2. I'm going to get rid of the first 2. So your pattern will say using chords 3, 4, 5 and 6, tie a square knot. Okay, now we don't want to tie it too tight because it'll be right up there and then it'll be dense. And we want to get quite a net, like a fishing net effect. So we get rid of numbers 1 and 2 over there. They float them out of the way. And then we're going to tie a square knot with 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the ones that were the working chords from the previous square knots become the filler chords, and the outside ones that were the filler chords become the working chords. So we're now going to tie a square knot a little bit further down, but we don't want to go all the way up, and we're going to have to try and get these spaces pretty uniform. You can, if you want to, you can slide in a thin ruler or, I don't know, a couple of chopsticks, whatever you fancy, just to sort of keep your spaces consistent. But I'm just going to have a go at doing it by eye because they're not massive and we should be able to measure it, and you can always, there's always a bit of wiggle room. So I've taken me 2 from one and me 2 from the other. Oh, and I've tied my square knot nice and tight. Okay, so you can see we get this lovely sort of butterfly effect there. Get rid of them 4. We then take the next 2, so it's the outside ones will be tying the knots. So we go do our first one. Now this first one is what you use to pull up to sort of the line up with the next one where you want it to be, and the second one is what you use to tighten it and fix it in position. Lovely. Okay, there, like that there. Ooh, delightful. Let's go up a little bit more. Give them nice bouncy sort of wings there. Right, so we do that all the way along, taking 2 from the 2 from one and 2 from the next of the previous row of knots, and tie in your square knot. First one nice and loose, second one pull it up and tighten it into position like that. Okay, right, see you at the end of that row. So I've reached the end of that second row, and you can see that the first 2 and the last 2 chords remain unworked, and they're going to come down and become into the next square knot. So we're going to repeat this row here now using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and trying to replicate these spaces here. Now it's very tempting to pull this first one on this side quite tight, so you've got to just restrain yourself a little bit. You want to get that to that space there to mirror that space there, and you will get a little bit of a loopy bit on the side, but that's fine. That's part of the, like here, that's part of the charm. So we do the same again, square knot there, and then we do the same again as we did on last one. So it's 2 from one, 2 from the next, alternating all the way across. So that was that row done and dusted. So now what we're going to do is we're going to carry on doing that. So we do a row that starts with 3, 4, 5, 6 and goes all the way along alternating, and then the row that starts with 1, 2 again and brings those in. And we're going to keep doing that until we get down to just about here. Can't see it, can you? So until you've sort of filled in the area with the gap to there. We do want a little bit of sort of sag for your stand so that whatever you're putting in it will sort of sit behind this row and not just slide off the top, because that would totally negate the idea of a stand, wouldn't it? So we want it to be just so if you keep tying till about there, so it just sort of sits down about that far down there, and then I'll show you how we do the lark's head knots. Right, I will disappear now. I'll not make you watch this because it's pretty boring, isn't it? So I'll see you back when I'm down here with all my knots. All right, bye bye. So I've now tied my rows of alternating square knots until I've reached down to the bottom here. You can see if I pull it taut, the knots will sit just about on top of the bottom bar, and that's perfect. So there'll be a little bit of sag when we put it in, so your tablet, recipe book, whatever else you rested in here won't just slide out over the top. So we now want to tie these. They're called vertical lark's heads. I know that we're going to be doing them horizontally, but you would normally be tying them that way. And so we want to fasten them off on here, and then we just put the fringe on. So these ones are a little bit tricky to just get your head round initially. We want to recreate this effect here at the top. So we want like the little bean here, and then we want the legs. Now, because we've got each one of these, if you think that's one chord, and now we're going to have double that, so there's going to be a lot more to fit in along here, so we won't have these gaps between them. So take our first chord and you bring it over the top of your bar. Let's push it up a bit like that. You put it underneath the bar and bring it up. Okay, we then cross it over the middle and we pass it back down that side, and that should make us a little loop here. We then take the end and we pass it through there and we pull, 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 and that should generate the same effect there. If you look, you've got your little horizontal bar and your two vertical legs coming out that looks like your lark's head there. So we squidge that up there and pull it nice and tight. Don't worry, we'll be able to wiggle these rounds afterwards. We just want to get them nice and tight for now. So make sure you're taking the next one along here. So we take the next one, we bring it, it goes over. Get that one out of the way, right? We then go underneath and up on the left hand side. Okay, pull it nice and taut. We go over the bar that we've just made, and you pass your cord underneath your copper bar, making a lovely little loop here, right? Pass it up through that loop and pull it down behind your cord. Too many cords in the way. And we tighten it up. So you can tighten it up by pulling it like that. Check that you've got your little bar, your little bean there, and then pull it in, squish it up. We want these to be nice and taut because this is going to give this its structure. Okay, so we take the next one, we bring it over the top, underneath and up on the left of the main chord, and tighten it up to where you want it to be. We go across, over the back of the bar, underneath the bar, up that loop there, and then if you tighten it by pulling it down, 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 make sure you get it to sit where you want it to, and then pull it in. So we'll do another one of those. So we bring our cord over the bar, under the bar, and up on the left of your cord, like that, across and down behind the bar to make this loop here, underneath your bar, up, through, pull, 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 tighten it up, and pull it down to there, and we squidge them up there. So that's your first 4 cords from that square knot there tied off. So you can see you only had 2, you only had 4 strands at the top there, 2 lots 2. Here we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, because each one gets a cord. So we're now going to move on to this next square knot. So take your first cord on the left, we put it over, under and up, over, under, up, tighten it up to where you want it to sit, and then pull it down to where you want it to sit. Now you should see all these will start to kind of line up quite nicely. Right, make sure you get the next one along, so that's going to be this one here. So get them out of the way. Ooh, it's noisy, isn't it? So we bring it over, under and up on the left, tighten it up, over the top, down the back of your chord, your bar, underneath, up and through that loop. Tighten, tighten, tighten that way, and then, where's it gone? There it is. Tighten, tighten, tighten that way, and squish it up. We want these to be nice and snug down here. And you can see this is already starting to sit quite taut. I'll show you one more, and then I will meet you at the end of the row. So we bring it, next chord, we bring it over the bar, from back to front, under the bar and up through that loop on the left that we made. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Across, under, up, tighten, tighten, tighten that way, and tighten, tighten, tighten that way. Squidge. All right, I'll see you at the end. Bye-bye. So I've now fastened all these along here and pulled all the ends so that they're all lying kind of reasonably in a straight line there. So it's now time for the trim, because we don't want to be dealing with all this really. So this is not the final trim. This is just the kind of preliminary trim. So I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to just cut them a little bit longer than what I think I want them to be. So I'm just going to sort of run along the bottom there. Just help if your scissors are a little bit better, but at least they match. You can put these aside somewhere. I don't know what you might want to do with your end. You can save them for posterity, whatever you fancy. I'm sure you can create something with... Oh, you could make feathers. Have a look at macrame feathers. Right. So what we now want to do is we're going to untwist each one of these, and then you're going to brush it into a lovely fringe. So just lie it down, then we can kind of see what we're doing. So the easiest way to do it is to hold it, untwist a bit. These are 3-ply, this cord. Yours might be 4-ply if you're not using one of our kits, or even it might just be a single twist. So if it's a sort of twiny one, we're going to carry on along here, twisting, untwisting them all. So separate them into your 3 strands first of all. And then get them all separated like that. And then we brush. Now the best brushes, to be honest, are you want a hard brush and a sort of soft brush to fluff it up a bit. The best brushes I find are those baby brushes that you get in like the little packs that you can get from like Pound Shop and B&M, and they've got really soft bristles. I obviously have a craft hairbrush, so why wouldn't I have? So I use that, and then I fluff it up with a softy one. But I'll not bore you with the process because that can take a little while. So we'll just untwist all these. So we've untwisted them all. Now you can, if you want, you can leave it like that. Just give them a trim, and just want them to just sit above the surface that they're going to be on. So you can leave them like that if you want, or we can brush it out. Now with the brushing it out, I'm going to start with a hard brush. So this is a pretty brutal brush, and you just want to kind of... I'll stop brushing while I talk. You just want to keep going until you've separated the strands a little bit. It does throw up quite a lot of fluff, so it will make you sneeze. You can always put your mask on. Let's try the other side. Now this is probably going to take a little bit longer than you want to watch on a video, so I'll just turn it around to give you the idea. You can get your brush right into them, and a bit like what your mum used to do to you in the mornings before you went to school. Look, there's all this fluff appears. Oh, it's all in my nose. So just keep brushing, 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 separating those 3 strands. Sorry about the noise. That's not so bad there. You can, my friend reliably informs me, although I've not tried it myself, that a knit comb is very good for fluffing up your macrame cord. So it's worth considering if you've got one knocking around. Takes me back to the days of My Little Pony. Right, so roll it under like a nice bob. So then all that's left to do is give it a nice trim, depending on how long you want it to sit, or whether you there's fluff everywhere. So you can then decide how long you want to trim it. Now the best way to trim it is to sort of lie it flat that way so that you can access all of the strands. Measure it a bit, and then you need super sharp scissors. Now we know these are not super sharp scissors. I'm going to use my fabric scissors. Ooh, I know, it's reckless, but needs must. So give it all a comb out, get it nice and straight like that. Ooh. And then you want to go across. Start not too short, because you can always cut more off. You can't put more back on. So a little snip and the trim, and move it away. Now it's worth checking every now and then, just having a look to see that you look like that. There we got a little straggler escaped, so we'll just give it a little trim there. And then at this end. So I'll not bore you with the trimming process because it could literally take me hours. So I'll see you when we've got a nice straight fringe. All right, see you in a minute. So I'm quite happy with my fringe now. It's quite nice and level, unlike my fringe in reality most of the time. I've got a nice edge across there, brush them down. It could definitely go fluffier, but I've got that much fluff up my nose. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Right, I hope you've enjoyed making your copper and cord stand with us. All that's left now is to put something on it. Ta-da! Oh, look at that. Perfect. Send us some pics of yours and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye!